something that I feel is very important because I went down this rabbit hole of seeing children that were abused or essayed, and it was a lot of women, of all races, it was black women, white women that were moving these men in, and horrible things were happening to their children. And I'm talking about these women had newborns, toddlers, and they're moving in men that they met or that they knew for a month or two. And it's just like, do you think that you know a man in 4 weeks? Do you think that you know a man in 8 weeks to let him come and stay in your home and be around your child unsupervised? And I don't care what anybody says, when you let a man live with you, that is your child being around him unsupervised, because you're not always going to be around. You could be in the bathroom taking a dump. Sorry, respectfully. You could be in the shower. You could be asleep. And all of those things will leave your child unattended with a man that you don't know. Now, I don't understand what is going on. Now, I know y'all heard of the story of the black man here at the bottom that was caught on Ring camera beating the brakes off of a poor 3-year-old little boy. Now, my thing is this. There's no excuse, no rhyme or reason as to why you would be whooping a 3-year-old. I don't care what nobody say. Like, I don't care. And I come from the old school of, kids, your kid do something bad and the little grandma slap their hands or whatever. That is not what that man was doing. He took that little boy out there in the hallway and was whooping him. His back, his neck. There's no reason, I don't care what the child is doing, for you to be whooping on a 3-year-old. Are you nuts? And then this man doesn't have any type of respect for the mother, because you're not even the daddy. And I'm not saying that the daddy's supposed to do it, but you're not even the daddy. And you are letting a man whoop on your child. Somebody said, ops here, men, biological or otherwise, grape anything and anybody. I need you to get your stats together, because when a child is in a home with a step parent, a stepdaddy, a boyfriend, they are 40 times more likely to be abused or assaulted. So check your facts and then get back to me. Yeah, you're the op. Do better. Anyway, what I was saying is, like I just said, there are plenty of CPS stats, abuse stats that prove what I'm saying. You can look it up. I didn't say that men don't touch kids and violate kids. What I said is, you have another instance of a higher rate of something happening to your child when you move in a stranger. So are you trying to say like, oh, well, everybody's going to do it, so I'm just going to move in a stranger of this man that I don't know, that I've known for 2 weeks? If you say that, then somebody needs to take you out of CPS, and you working for CPS means nothing. You know how many CPS workers ignore children being violated and touched on and abused? 1 million, a bajillion. Half the time CPS workers don't even give a so there's that. Anywho, let me say that if you are a woman and you are talking to a man and you know him for a few weeks, a month or two, and you're moving him in your house and you're giving him access to your children, you're a dummy. Do you not know that there are men that prey on single mothers on purpose so that they can have access to their children? I should have put the mugshot up of the white man that preyed on a woman on Tinder because he saw her having a picture of her newborn baby. This man, well, I think he wasn't even in the house for 2 weeks before he brutally assaulted her 10-week-old baby. And if I'm not mistaken, put it on film. Now, you tell me, what would make a woman that just had a baby 10 weeks old, you on Tinder looking for a man? Not only are you on Tinder looking for a man when you just had a man, clearly because you got a 10-week-old baby, you let him be around your baby, unattended. This stuff is really making me upset. Are you dumb? And I'm really tired of every time these children, something happens to them, it's a whole bunch of people talking about, oh, you can't blame the mother. You can't blame the mother. That's victim blaming. You can't blame her. It's not her fault. She didn't have anything to do with it. She didn't hurt the kid. What? I blame the mother. Of course I blame the man, but I blame the mother. The man could have never done that to the child unless the mother dropped the ball and let this random weirdo around the child. Now, of course, this is different than, like let's say somebody's grandfather or uncle or the father of the child does something. That's a totally different scenario. But if you're moving a man in and he's doing something to your child, it's your fault. I don't care what nobody say. Especially if you're moving them in quickly. Because what the heck is wrong with you? I just don't understand it. Just like, I don't know if y'all remember that black woman who met a man online and she moved this white tea man in after like 24 hours. I think it was 24 or 48 hours and lay him around. I think it was like her three or 4-year-old. And the minute she left and she went to work, that man raped and unalived her 3 or 4-year-old daughter. Do y'all remember that? And he ended up he used Lysol wipes on her to try to cover up the crime and that he unalived her. I don't know if y'all remember that. He ended up getting locked up and going to prison. And he ended up being unalived in prison. He got unalived in prison though. He didn't last long. But yes, I really want to talk about this because it's real crazy. Like, I just don't understand it. Do you not realize that if you got a 10-week-old baby and you online trolling for men, trying to find a man to come stay with you, you are male-centered. You'll pick me. Because why in the world, why don't you calm that pussy down and wait? You know what I'm saying? And then my thing is, you're not even waiting until your child speaks. I remember back in the day, my mother told me, hey, when you were little, me and your dad, we wouldn't send you anywhere unless it was with like my mom. She said her mother, my grandma, she was like, because you couldn't talk. She was like, you definitely shouldn't have your child around nobody when they can't talk. When the child can't talk, because the child can't even tell you, properly verbalize to you if something's going on. So you got a 10-week-old baby being with a strange man that's not the daddy, and the child can't even speak and tell you if something's going on. The child can't even say, hey, mom, this man is hurting me. This man is harming me. Don't have me around him. You know, like I said, I'm just getting real tired of people making excuses for the mothers. Like, it's the mother's fault. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And the same goes for the men too. Because there was a man, he apparently took his children or was having visitation from his baby mama. So he had like a little girl. She was like, I want to say 5. He had this girl, this younger girl, because she was like, I want to say she was 20, around his daughter. And she was, essaying his child and filming it. He became suspicious, and when she went to sleep, he looked in her phone and saw all of these videos of her essaying his child. Now, for me personally, I can't believe that he didn't beat the brakes off of this lady, but he didn't. He went and called the police, or no. He went down to the police station and gave them the phone and showed them the stuff that was on the phone. The police came back to the house, woke her up, and arrested her. But once again, he didn't know the girl long. So it's like this just doesn't apply to single mothers. It applies to single fathers too. Because it could be a woman that you don't know that could do some stuff to your child too. Even though men are more likely to do it. So, like I said, it just doesn't make any sense. I just don't know what to say. I really don't. If you guys don't see the picture of the man up here at the top left corner, this man violated his girlfriend's 2-year-old daughter. She said that he came in drunk the night before. She became suspicious that he might have done something to her child. So, now me personally, if I felt like you did something to my child, I'm going to wake you up with a pew pew in your mouth. But that's just me. Now, she thought that this man possibly did something to her 2-year-old the night before, because he was drunk. So the next day, when he went to sleep, she went through his phone and saw that he had recorded himself abusing her child. Sexually, And once again, this man called the popo, and he got arrested. He also, they said that he has what is it I'm saying? He has a popular Instagram with I think it was 50K followers or something like that. And I just don't know what to say, man. I just really want women to stop prioritizing men over the safety and well-being of their children. I understand that if you're a single mother, you may want love, but I think that a lot of men will prey on a child they'll prey on a woman just to have access to the child. Tears said, and you're asking for a cash app. I'm asking for a cash app from your daddy. That's just something that's automatically up there. Shut your goofy behind up. If that's the only thing you can focus on, you probably touch on kids too. Tears. So shut up. The person in the request box, are you black? Brittle, Bintul, Muslima? Let me know. Okay? If you're not, okay, you are. Okay, cool. I got you. Okay, go ahead, sis. You have something to say?
Yes. I'm actually wanting to share my perspective, but also I'm curious to hear on your opinion as well, because it's a controversial subject that mothers who move men in quickly are worse than the men who violate the children. So my answer to that is like my debate on that. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so my response to that is that at the end of the day, the original violator is the guilty one. Now the mother has her own wounds and she is responsible. She carries a major responsibility in allowing unsafe people in her space just out of desperation. But the person who went out their way to violate the child is even worse than the mother. That's the sick person who went out their way to violate a child. So I don't see how, like, don't get me wrong, the mother still has a huge responsibility when it comes to her children. She's the one who's supposed to be protecting her children. She shouldn't be allowing nobody around her children early on or none of that. Like, she should be vetting folks from the jump. But the man who come into a mother's life, and there's different reasons why a woman, me personally, I got two kids of my own. I would never allow a man that I'm seeing, even for a year. I'm talking about even if somebody that I've been seeing for a year, I would not allow him around my children until I've vetted them all the way. And I'm like, okay, I feel like this person is a safe person to have around my children. But yeah, like I understand the mothers that do that though. Like not on a, oh, I get it, I feel bad for her. No, more so on the level of she needs to heal. She got problems. She needs to heal. Like she has problems. She's too trusting. She's naive, and that's what she needs to be worried about. But I wouldn't fully, hold her responsible for an action of a man who went out his way to violate an innocent child. But I would hold her responsible for failing to protect her children by being naive and moving in a man too soon instead of vetting the man. That's where I would hold her responsible. But I'm curious to hear your perspective on it. Why do you think mothers that move in men quickly are worse or guilty than the men who do the violating?
Okay, so you might have just came in, sis. Okay, so let me say this. I feel like these instances that I just mentioned, an instance of a woman that met a man on Tinder. After a few weeks, I think it was like a week or two, she let him move in with her and he violated her 10-week-old baby in the worst way and unalived the baby and filmed the act. Down here, you see a man, this black man in the bottom right corner, was just moved in with a woman after just a few months. Her child is 3. He has the child outside, viciously beating the child. This man up here in the top left corner, just the woman let the man come over, live with her. 2-year-old filmed himself violating a child. In my opinion, if you move a man, or the story of the girl, I forgot the name and I'll look it up so that I can give you names so that you guys can look up these stories yourself. The other story of the black woman that moved in this white man that she met online, moved him in, I think it was 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours with her daughter who was 3. And the minute she went to work and left her child with that man, he raped and unalived her child. In my opinion, you're the one that's supposed to protect your child from outside forces, right? If you are so desperate and thirsty and male-centered and man-hungry that you would bring a man around your child that you don't know and leave him unattended that quickly, you're absolutely more worse because, and I'm not saying these men are absolutely horrible scumbuckets, they're horrible and they're terrible. But what I'm saying is you're more to blame. You're more to blame than those men because those men could not have access to your child unless you gave it to them. There's no reason why you should have a man around a 10-week-old baby. No reason. You should ask yourself, why does this man want to talk to me and I got a baby, a 10-week-old baby? I'm not even done bleeding yet. Why my body, my uterus isn't even back in a place that it's supposed to be in. My uterus is still out of whack. I haven't even, my whole cervix isn't even closed up yet. But this man want to be up under me and around me. You should think, yeah, he probably want to touch on my child. You got a 2-year-old, you got a 3-year-old. These men, like the black man in the bottom right corner, she talk about he took the child outside to discipline him. What in the world are you letting a man that's been living with you for a few weeks take your 3-year-old outside to whoop on him. And which you don't whoop on no 3-year-old anyway. And he's not even a daddy. Not saying that the daddy is supposed to do it, but you letting some random Negro come out there and beat on your child. If that man had unalived her child out there, that would have been her fault because she's the goofy that sat there and moved, number one, moved this Negro in and then let him put his hands on her child. So my thing is, absolutely, I think a lot of times women, when it comes to children, want to play this victim. And they don't want to have any responsibility. They just want to be like, well, yeah, I mean, I played some part in it, but it was the man's fault. It's all on him. It's all on him. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. At some point, you have to, as a woman, realize you got to protect your kids. Ain't no man just gonna want to be with you and you got a 2-year-old and he trying to be the daddy. What motivation do you think he has to do that? Men barely want to take care of their own children. But you think he meeting you? You meeting him online and he just want to love you so much that he want to take care of your 1-year-old daughter, your 2-year-old son? No, I would say 90% of the time he has an ulterior motive in mind, and that's putting your child on the dark web. And and any woman I feel like that wants to debate me about this, you must be the type of, not you, sis. I think what you said was reasonable. I think that any woman that really is saying like, oh, we're the mothers, we just don't know. I disagree. And like I said before, this really isn't just about mothers either, because there was a story not too long ago of a man that he was dating this 20-year-old. He was older. I think he was in his 30s. He had her around his child and became suspicious about her behavior. She ended up going to sleep. He ended up looking at her phone and finding videos of her violating his daughter. And like uploading it to like, abuse websites and stuff like that. And he went to the police station while she was sleeping, brought the police back and they arrested her. I think she was like 20 or something like that. So that's also, he dropped the ball as a father. So he's so I'm not just making it about women. It's whether you're a single mother or a father. You can go ahead.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, and like you said when you started the conversation that I'm new here. I just saw the flyer and I was like, okay, let me get on here and talk to sis real quick because I feel like the men are worse. But I want to use an example. Okay, I get where you're coming from, but I want to use an example. So I think one of the scenarios, it was a 3-week-old baby or a 10-week-old baby that was violated and then got murdered, or was it the hello?
Well, you can't say the M word. We'll
Oh,
get
sorry, my
flagged.
bad. Okay, I'll do F1.
Or you gotta do like unalived.
Okay, so one of the scenarios, the baby got unalived. So if you put that on a scale, right? Let's look at it from a scale perspective. You put the mother who is irresponsible for whatever reason, whatever issues or whatever the thing is, even if she doesn't have issues, she brought a man around a so and so week old baby, and then you put the man on a scale who went out his way, had the heart to violate that child, not only do that, but unalive that child as well. I feel like the tail kind of tips heavier on the male side. They're both messed up for their actions. But I feel like when you put those two on a scale, it takes a certain level of horrendous evilness and wickedness to harm a child on that level and unalive that child. And then the mother too, she has her responsibility. But I feel like when you put those two on a scale, the man who violates and unalives the child is more guilty and it tips heavier. But I get where you're coming from though. I get where you're coming from.
All right. I got you. I mean, like I said, I think we'll probably just disagree on this point because I just feel
Yeah.
like the man would never have access unless you give him access, and there's no reason why you having a child that is at least, I feel like, under the age of 10. There's no reason why you should have a man around your child and your child can't even properly verbalize to you the things that are going on with them. And definitely meeting a man in a couple months, a few weeks, a couple days, and you're moving them in and you're giving them complete access to your child. That's just stupid.
Mm,
And you're to blame for that. And of course, the
I
men are
agree.
definitely to blame, and they don't even
Yeah,
need to be alive. But you're the mother, and it's on you, not on them, to protect your child. It's
most
on you to do that.
definitely.
But all right, let me keep going.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Oh, sorry. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, sis. All right, let me go next up here to Mike Music. Go ahead. Let me start your timer since we got some more people in here. Go ahead. Let me yeah, go ahead. Oops, sorry. I think I muted you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Uh, Let me see. Let's do this one more time. Are you doing it? Hello. All
Yeah,
right.
you're here. I hear you.
I agree with you. I mean, in my mind, first of all, to me, especially the way the climate is, I don't think men and women with pre-existing relationships, and a lady said this down there earlier, they shouldn't get in relationships until like all their children are married and out the house, because at the end of the day, you never really know somebody's intentions until you get to know them. So for you to just be so, especially with children that young, you a woman shouldn't even really feel, if especially if it's not the father, you shouldn't feel comfortable until you can say you know 100% about that man before that man even meet your child, let alone move in. That's just my opinion.
All right, I got you. I got you. Somebody in the comments said, not even male relatives. I definitely agree. I don't think that you should have male relatives around your children either. I think that if they have a penis, that they're up for suspicion. Because if somebody's gonna, I'm not saying that women don't do things, but there's a way higher likelihood of a man doing it. So to play it safe, you should be not leaving your children around any of these men. For real, for real.
But
It's just not smart, and it's just a risk factor. But let me
but
keep
what if
going. What?
But what if you are diligent and make it? Because see, I got 6 daughters. Wish I could have a son. I don't know what I did wrong. I think I picked on one of the wrong sisters growing up. God get me back. But what if you like? I have a lot of positive male role models, and I'm real diligent about keeping myself in that company and keeping my daughters around that
Yeah,
company.
that's that. I mean, I feel like you never know what a man is like to you, because men are different to men than they are to women and girls. So you can say that's the reason why when there's women that get exposed, they've been getting the brakes beat off of them for a decade, and all of their homies come out and say, "Oh no, I didn't know that. He's a good guy. We used to play NBA 2K together and play Madden. We went to sports games. We did this. I never knew he was like that. Of course you didn't, because he doesn't treat men the same way he treats women. So just because you think that they're a good man doesn't mean that they are, and it doesn't mean that they're going to act in a decent way toward your daughters. So, like I said before, allowing men at all around your daughters is crazy. It's wild. It's insane. If they have a penis, they're up for debate on trusting, and that's just a mere statistical perspective. Men are risky. They do the majority of 99.1% of all forcible rape is committed by men. So that should tell you that you need to watch men. All right, so let me keep going. Let me go next up here to the Baba's journey. Go ahead. Let me start your timer. Go ahead, sir.
What's going on? Well, I do understand your the fear. I understand based on that information that you presented, but at the same time, the narrative that men are, I get it, but the narrative that men are just like this, it's like these. You have boys and you have men, and not everybody's just a man. For example, these dudes that you got up here, whatever they got charged with, right? What you just named that they got charged with. When they end up in the jail, guess what the majority of men do to these guys? They end up getting unalived eventually. This is how strongly we feel about these kind of crimes. So it's just, the narrative that, men are just that kind of way. We actually have a protective nature, and a lot of us are actually righteous. But there are guys like this that exist. Going back to the prompt, I get why you can say this, because it is true also that women have they tend to choose bad. They have a bad sense of choice when it comes to men.
Uh,
First of all, you're looking at men, but if this guy needs a place to stay, that's already a red flag. So that's definitely a form of desperation. You shouldn't be if you have kids and you looking for a guy, you should be thinking like, man, this guy should have to have something of his own, like do something of his own. But for you to bring him to your house with your kids and things like that, I've seen it with my own eyes. It's definitely desperation when it comes to like attention and
okay.
and all that.
All right. I'll just say this in rebuttal to what you said. I think a lot of men can't wrap their mind around the fact that a lot of men are terrible people. So they say that women, all of these women are choosing wrong, as opposed to saying that there aren't enough men that are decent to choose from. So I think that these women are choosing from the pool of available men. And the whole thing that y'all say about men unaliving, chomos and in prison and stuff, that does happen. But a lot of times that doesn't happen at all. And my thing is that if men were so against men being chomos, all of these men that be doing these things, they wouldn't even make it to jail. They would be in the grave immediately. So men don't be standing on business when it comes to men violating children or violating women. They don't. And I don't understand where that's coming from when it's just not a real thing that's going on. And when you said about like there's a difference between like men and boys and all that other stuff, and there's a lot of men that don't do that, I don't speak in like how you feel. I speak in statistics and I speak in facts. And the majority of the people that are doing this are male. That's just undeniable. And when we talk about letting the man come stay with you, that is not, first of all, if it's a non-custodial parent, or it's not the biological parent, your child, if you move a man in that is not the child's father, you have a 40% higher risk of him either beating that baby or touching that baby or doing something horrible to the child that you have created. So you need to make sure that you don't have these men around your children, period. And like I said before, any man is a risk. There's a whole bunch of stories that I was just reading when I went down the rabbit hole of researching this of the actual father. Black men, white men, Hispanic men touching and violating their own children, daughters, and sons. Okay. So, and I think that, yes, the mother is the main line of defense against the child, but let's make sure that we acknowledge the fact that there are a lot of degenerate men out here. It's not like there's only one. And so there are women that just say, oh my goodness, look at that man over there in the corner. He looks shiftless and lazy and suspicious. I just don't know how to choose. I'm just going to be with him. That's not what's happening. It's that the majority of men are like this, not the minority. Now, I do believe there are a minority of men that would never do anything like this, but those men are in the what? The minority. Okay, so let me keep going. Mike Music says you just don't attract good men. First of all, your mama doesn't attract good men, which is the reason why you're here. I do have a good husband. So that's what I'm saying. And it's so upsetting to me that y'all like to say things like this because you want to get in your emotions and your feelings and you can't deal with the truth. That's not my fault, sir, that you can't deal with the truth. You thought you was going to come up here and say something, but I was educated on the topic that I was talking about. That's your fault. Okay. So once again, I think you need to take that up with your mother about her not choosing a good pappy. Okay. Do better. All right. Let me keep going. Let me see here. Let's see here. Mike Music says, I can show you a lot of good men. No, you can't. And I'm going to tell you why you can't show me a lot of good men. Because you're not a good man. So that means that anybody you attract is already going to be piss poor and trashy because they're your friend. So you can't show me nothing. You can show me a lot of dusties. You can show me a lot of dingbats. You can show me a lot of idiots. But you can't show me no good men. Okay? All right, let me keep going. Pepper Potts, go ahead. You there, Pepper Potts?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Good morning. So first, I just want to say that I completely agree. I would say that if the man is going to be charged for some type of assault, unaliving something, that the mother should be charged for some type of negligence. And I literally never thought about that until me hearing this, like me stumbling upon this, and why. is because so many times, like when you hear the story, it really does come down to like, why'd you let that man in your house? Like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And it's like, I don't know, like in a way, like you said, with the mom being the first line of defense, something I do feel like that she should get some type of like negligent charge because it is negligent behavior. It just, to me, it really is. Like, I would say that I watch a lot of crime shows. This lady, when she first met her guy, this guy she was just talking to for 2 weeks, she let the guy take her daughter to a county fair. The guy kidnapped and unalived her. But why, like, I have a 6-year-old. That's something I can never think about doing, is having somebody just take my kid to some fair without me. Like, I fear that the desperation sometimes like outweighs any possible situation of danger that can happen. I'm going to be quick, but there was another scenario where this guy, it was like a joke thing where it was a dating profile, and it was obvious in the guy's profile that I have child abuse charges, assault charges. Like, it was supposed to be something very obvious that was there, but they used a very attractive picture. They showed that the man still got DMs from women. It did not matter. And in fact, it's something that a therapist said, like, some dangerous behaviors just does not matter to to women. So unfortunately, if men have to have the same punishment when something happens to the child, I do think that, something has to happen to the mom. So maybe it can be an example for other moms not to just be so quick to have people around your kids, at least for me.
All right. I got you. And let me tell you something, sis. I saw that where the guy made like, I think it was like Tinder profile or whatever. And he said that he had like, he was beating women or something. And all them women were still DMing him because they thought he was cute. That was crazy. Yeah, I think it was that was like a lot of white women. And so my thing is that a lot of people talk about like, this is just a black woman issue. It's not. It's a woman issue, period. All races of women do this, act like this when it comes to a man, because some women are they turn off their complete intellectual capabilities when it comes to a man. It's really nuts. Like, but let me keep going. I appreciate you, sis. All right, let me go next up here since we got a full house to Samia, or let me know if I said that wrong. Samaya?
No, you said it right.
Samia, okay.
I pretty much do agree with you. I just think that there should be like just a slight distinction. I feel like the man is more guilty, but the mom is more responsible, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like in terms of technicality, he's the one that's guilty of the crime and should be charged as such. I also do agree with the last person that I think the mother could be charged for negligence at best. I agree with that. But I feel like the responsibility of the crime being able to happen falls completely on the mother. But I feel like he is guilty of the crime itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. So let me ask you a question. What do you think about a mother that has a 10-week-old, a newborn, and lets a man move in that she's known for a few days, and he ends up violently and viciously essaying the child, actually penetrating the child and unaliving it? You don't think that she has like an equal responsibility? Because it's like, how stupid could you be to meet a man after a couple days, move him in, and then give him access to your newborn? You didn't think that this man, why would a man be interested in a woman that just had a newborn?
I think she has more of the responsibility. That's what I said. She has more responsibility for letting it happen. I just think he's more like guilty in terms of like
criminally.
Yes. I think he's more criminally guilty. I think she's more generally responsible. It's her fault that it happened, but it's his fault that he did it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. And just like sweet Tina said in the comments, yes, that's a true story that I just told y'all. That was an example. That was real. Which is crazy. It's nuts. Okay, I appreciate you, sis. All right, let me go next up here to Low Key. All right, let me start your timer, Low Key. Go ahead. Hey.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just really trifling. I feel bad for kids who have slow parents. I just feel like people are not like real about the situation. At the end of the day, you bringing some random off the street around your kids is reckless, is trifling. And it's like you are putting your kid in harm's way. And it's like all for what you could be dating. It's never that deep at the end of the day. And it's like the baby was 10 weeks old. How do you have
Yes.
time? You have a baby coming into this world. How the hell you got time to be planning for a brand new person to be around who's not even the baby daddy? That makes no sense. You should be focused on getting your body back together, having your baby, chilling. And it's like in some cultures, you can't even leave the house after 40 days after giving birth because it's not healthy. So it's just like, how you got time for a new man? I don't know. I just feel like also some of these women, to be honest, they have to be held accountable. It's not cool. I'm tired of seeing these stories of women bringing some man around their kid and the kid gets done wrong and people be like acting like the mom, like, oh, it's not that deep. No, it is that deep. These children don't have, like, it's not their choice to decide who's in their house, who's around them. That's your job. You're supposed to protect them. And it's like you're bringing somebody. How do you even feel comfortable to bring a random guy you just met into your own house for your own safety, let alone your baby who can't even talk? That's not cool. But I don't have kids. I just feel like it's just trifling and it's annoying and it's just like people be slow as hell and it's like you're slow. I don't feel like you should have a kid.
All
But yeah,
right.
that's all I wanted to say.
All right. I got you, low key. Appreciate you. Let me say, somebody in the comments said that why are we having this conversation? Because it's just gonna cause the people and the men in the black community to blame us or whatever. I feel like that's a very piss poor take. Because this isn't just about blaming black women or anything like that. This is, like I said, I only care about black women, but this is a women issue. And this is also a child protection issue. You shouldn't even care about that. You should care about the kids. You know what I'm saying? And that's the most important thing, to let women know that it's okay to be by yourself. It's okay to wait a while. It's not smart to have a man around your toddlers or your newborn. It's not a smart decision. Like I said, something that my mother told me growing up, well, both my parents, I was raised by both my parents who were married. They told, my mother would always say, hey, I'm not leaving her. I'm not leaving her with nobody until she can talk. You know, she told me, like, when I was older, like, you never leave a child with nobody if they can't talk and verbalize and to be able to tell you properly and concretely about what's going on. So you having these men around a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, newborn, you're already setting yourself up to lose. And of course, a man can violate your child if you knew him for a year. But my thing is that none of these women are even waiting that long to even know. Psychologists say that it takes 3 to 6 months or up to a year for a person to show you their true colors. That's how long people can last without showing their true colors and true intentions, according to psychologists. These women aren't even waiting 3 months, 6 months, a year. They're moving these men in 48 hours or a couple weeks. So that's really the issue in play here. And I'm not trying to say, that women don't deserve love or anything like that. But I am saying that you have a responsibility and a duty to your children, because whoever you let around them and something happens, that's really your fault. Because if you had never allowed access like that, it never would have happened. Now but this is a totally unrelated from, like I said earlier, a relative, a grandfather, an uncle, a brother, a nephew, a cousin. Those are different circumstances. And a lot of people trust their family, even though I don't feel like you should. I know a lot of people trust their family and that's fine. So those things, I don't feel like the mother is to blame. So we're talking about strictly strangers, strange men that are not the father. Okay? So yeah. Let me keep going. Next up to Sweet Pea. Go ahead, Sweet Pea.
Hey girly, hey y'all.
Hey.
So I just wanted to take it back a little bit and go like to the originator of who the fuck is the problem. And I wanted to say that this go back, I don't like when people romanticize generations before, and these conversations are taboo. You question why you're triggered will host a forum like this, an open forum where we're talking about stuff like this, but things like this become taboo and there's no advocacy for these kids. There's no like education to the mothers that are doing this and feel like they grew up in circumstances like this, so they don't know right from wrong. And if they did, they don't have another female telling them like, girl, this is dead wrong. So I think these conversations need to be had. And I also just wanted to double down on the fact that I said that it goes back to generations before. I've seen so many grandmas and their grandmas tell victims, oh, well, this has happened to me, so, you know, And that's not okay. Just because it happened to you, why would you want that to happen to your child? And then she doesn't know how to function, or she doesn't know how to regulate her emotions and right from wrong. And then it happens to her child, and it's a continuous cycle. I think that we need to start looking at these parents and having these conversations, because people always think, okay, this is something that's not that bad. It's something that's bad, and it's something that's actually happening. And just to also point my last 30 seconds, they say that it's not a racial thing. If we just seen Amber, and I'm an avid person that was watching Teen Mom, Amber moved, she's a white woman, she was moving men in, and she admitted to that. I think she was saying like her most recent boyfriend, she moved them in after like a month, and she has all those kids. What you do around your kids will definitely reflect on your parents, and when they get older, and their like patterns repeat. That's all I was gonna say. But thank you for having this open forum.
All right. I got you. I appreciate you, sis. All right, let me go next up here to Mahogany. Go ahead, Mahogany.
Hi. For the most part, I agree with the prompt. I am a little hesitant about the language of the mothers being more guilty than the men, because I'm hesitant about any language that shifts kind of like the blame of action away from men, especially in this climate. And I feel like these days, like women are pushing for men in general as a community and as individuals to like take more responsibility in situations like this. So that's like my only qualm with it. But other than that, I do agree, especially when it comes to moving in men quickly. I think that that's absolutely insane, given that most, like statistically speaking, the chances of your child experiencing childhood SA go up drastically when you move in a man that is not biologically related to that child in some way,
40
shape, or
times.
thank you.
It's,
Yes,
yeah, 40 times.
insane to me. There was a man that was on the panel previously that was saying that women really shouldn't be considering dating because of that danger until their child is like 18 or and out of the house. And I think that's a little extreme, but I do think that an unfortunate sacrifice of being a single mother is that you probably should wait until your child is at least old enough to advocate for themselves before you start dating and bringing men around them, because it's not going to be the obvious person that's going to be the predator. Like I saw a video on TikTok about a man that was like following women around the grocery store and recording up their skirts, and he was caught on camera and was confronted by the person recording, and that person, like when he was confronted, he looked so innocent. And even with me seeing him like doing this filming of up women's skirts, it took a moment when I was looking at his face to be like, no, yeah, he really did this, because he looked so innocent. And I feel like that's the thing. The people who are really, really, really dangerous predators, they don't look like it. You're not going to catch them straight away. They have methods, and they're typically in spaces that allow them to have access to children and learn the behaviors that allow parents to trust them. So I do think that it's super important to wait until your kids are old enough before you start bringing men around them. And you are more guilty as a woman if this is like a repeat action. If you're consistently bringing random men into your home, then at that point you are more guilty than any man, because you are repeatedly enabling the process and probably without allowing your child to heal. That's it.
Okay. All right. No problem. I got you, Mahogany. And I do understand what you're saying. Definitely. And I just want to make this clear. I'm not saying that men are not the cause and the blame of this at all. I'm not trying to attempt to shift, responsibility and accountability for being a degenerate, a pervert, a, predator away from men. All I'm saying is that a lot of times when something happens to these children, it is because of an egregious lack of decision making on the mother's part. Super pick-meism that has resulted in her child being in the ground. Because like I said before, there's no way I can't hold you even more responsible if you knew a man for 48 hours and you moved him in with your toddler daughter. You left this man alone with your daughter and you weren't even gone a few hours before he essayed her and unalived her. That's insane. That's a whole lack of there's something wrong with you. And of course there's something wrong with the men, but it's something wrong with you. And I feel like because it's your child, you birthed them, you carried them in your womb, you're supposed to be protecting them. You're the primary caregiver. You letting your lust for a bum, because in this situation, I'm just telling you, it's true too. This black woman that wants this dusty white tea man that look like he don't got a window, a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, you risk the child that you spent all of that time baking in your stomach for her to only meet her end in the most degrading of fashions. So as she's had these things are happening to her, this man is doing, she's so young, she doesn't even understand what's going on to her. She doesn't even understand what's happening. All she knows is that she's experiencing deep pain from somebody that her mother was talking to. Like, that's just nuts. I feel like I can't. I understand I'm holding men accountable and the men are disgusting, but I already expect men to be disgusting, if you want me to be honest. But as a mother, what the heck are you doing? What the heck are you doing? So, but let me keep going. Let me go up here next to TNS. Go ahead, TNS.
Hey, good afternoon. So I agree with the prompt. I agree with what everyone has said. I think the only part is just the more statement. I do believe they're as equally as guilty as each other. But obviously the man did the violation, so he should get the point, he should do the time. But then I also feel like society doesn't understand just how dangerous it is, pick me women and male-centered women are. You know, we usually hear it trivialized, I don't know if that's the word, just to, like, it's trivialized in the sense that people don't understand how dangerous male-centered women really are, especially to their own children. You hear stories time and time again of children running away from their own homes because their mother has picked a man over their safety. You have these, there's so many different movies, Precious, different examples of movies to showcase these women, documentaries over and over again. And I think we don't understand just how many women are predators themselves, but maybe, sometimes certain cowards want to do the action, but they don't have the balls to do it. So they allow it to happen to their children, but because they don't want to do the time for it. So certain mothers themselves are predators, because you hear of little boys as well that have been, fondled by these women and whatsoever. But there needs to be some form of punishment for negligence. There was a lady on the panel that mentioned negligence, and negligence should be a crime, because that child is in your care. You are that child's primary guardian. And the fact that a violation happened under your roof, your place, you brought the enemy from outside within, there definitely needs to be some sort of time and punishment for negligence. But are they more guilty than the guy? Morally, maybe yes, but physically, no, if that makes sense.
All right, I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. I understand what you're saying. And I just wanted to say for clarity, I also talked earlier about a single father that allowed a 20-year-old girl that he was seeing, that he was a lot older than her, around his daughter. And he became suspicious of her, went through her phone, found that she had been abusing his child. And then he went to the police while she was sleeping and showed them the evidence. And the police came there and arrested the girl while she was, woke her up and arrested her. So this definitely happens on the other flip side as well. But I do want to give you guys some stats on CSA, child abuse, or child SA or whatever, because when we always say like there are women that do it too, I want to put it in perspective for you. It says that reports consistently indicate that men are responsible for the overwhelming majority of child SA cases, with figures often cited around 88% to 94%. Okay? So I just want to make it clear here, you have a way more higher likelihood of something happening to your child at the hands of a man. Not saying that you can trust all women, not saying that women don't be doing this sometimes as well, but just want you to know that this is overwhelmingly a male issue. So we got to put this in perspective. It's an overwhelming male issue. And once again, if you need another stat, 99.1% of all forcible rape is committed by men. And even when men are raped, they are raped by other men most of the time, of course. So I really want y'all to know that it's not equal. It's not equal in the slightest. So yeah. And, some people are giving different numbers. Somebody said 92%. It could be just the site that I'm looking at. But the site that I'm looking at says 88% to 94%. So that's crazy. Because if you look at the high year 94, my goodness, that's basically everything. Because if somebody made you a meal and they said that on one of these plates, 94% of it is poison, you would be like, yeah, I'm not going to take that deal because that's wild, right? But okay, let me just keep going. Let me go up here next to Unwritten. Go ahead, sis.
Hey girl, hey y'all. Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I can see the debate between the Moore word, the fact that she failed at protecting her child to me means she need to be charged with child endangerment specifically. Um, and that needs to be enforced on all of these cases where you had the ability to forego this scenario. I want to give like I want to give like an example for women who are saying like, you know, if you had kids, you shouldn't be dating at all. So my mom, I think divorced my dad when I was like 5, and I remember never met any guys really. I think it was when I was around 10, I met this one guy that she apparently was dating twice. It wasn't until I was older and started dating and was like, you know, we were kind of talking about her dating life. Come to find out, she was dating that man for 7 years and I met him twice. So y'all can't tell me that you can't have a fulfilling dating life, still be satisfied, and not bring that man around your kids. Because I literally lived through that. I didn't even know my mom was dating. I'm thinking homegirl was single. She was in a full-blown relationship for 7 years, and I only met this man twice. Because she was not going to bring him around me until I was older. So you can do that if you actually care about protecting your kids and also have a fulfilling dating life. So I don't think it has to be either or, because I'm an example that, yeah, that is what women who care about their kids actually do. So I just wanted to give that example that, yeah, that you don't have to choose. You just have to have a hard boundary that I'm not going to bring strangers around my kids when they are too young. And even still, even when I did meet him, it was in public. He still never came to the house. So I just want that to be very clear. And so she never got married to him because of me. Solely because of me. She was like, you're too young for me to get married with him. She wanted to literally when she got married when I left the house. When I was 18 and went off to college. That's when she actually got married. Not because she couldn't, not because he didn't want to, but because she did not want to risk me.
I'll give you one more minute, Unwritten.
But yeah, no, I just wanted to give that kind of and I don't really share personal stories, but I just want to get a personal story for women specifically of like, you can protect your kids and still have a fulfilling dating life. That's all I wanted to show y'all. But yeah, that was it.
All right. I got you. I appreciate you, Unwritten. Bonnie Racing said in the comments, you can wait 5 years. A predator is gonna prey. And I just had this discussion yesterday. Anytime women talk to other women about, recognizing the signs, using discernment, critically thinking when it comes to men, it's always going to be a woman that comes around and tells you that, no, I'm sorry, you don't have any power. You don't have any discernment. There's nothing you can do. You can't tell a man is this, that, and the third. I'm going to say this, and I say it all the time, and people can be mad at me if or not. I don't care. When you are dealing with a man that's a predator, that's an SAer, that's a beater, that's a cheater, whatever you want to call, 99% of the time he's giving you some type of red flag or some type of indication that there's something wrong. Something that's in your spirit that says, I don't know about this guy. And most of the time, women ignore it and move forward because they're so desperate and thirsty to be with a man. And that's all I'm gonna say. And the same person says they all have red flags. I mean, you can think that if you want, but if that's the case, are you a virgin? Have you been with any men? because I can't believe you're out here pursuing men and messing with them that they all have red flags. But nonetheless, it's just like I said, I feel like what some women do is a cope in order to try to excuse away their bad behavior and their poor decision making. Instead of accepting that, hey, I dropped the ball here, I wasn't paying attention, it's to say, oh, I couldn't help it. I didn't see anything. He's just so smart and so intelligent, even though the only thing he does is go to work and eat hot Cheetos and play video games. He somehow bamboozled me. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. And I want you to know, when y'all say that, you take your power away as women. You really, really, truly do. Because women have women's intuition for a reason. Women are very intelligent, very intuitive. And you're not going to prove me. You're not going to convince me of otherwise. And if you're black, which is the only people that I care about, black women, you're even more plugged in. So it is what it is. But let me keep going. Keep taking your power away by saying things like that. Go ahead. Coco, go ahead, Coco. You there, Coco? Okay, sorry. I think I muted you again. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Coco.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
Hey.
I just want to piggyback off of Unwritten. My mom, when she was dating after she got divorced, any man that asked too many questions about me within like the first 3 months, she red flagged it and was like, "Nah, you're not meeting my child." Like,
Oh, I'm sorry, Coco. I'm gonna restart your timer. I just wanted to respond to MM in the comments. You said you only care about black women. Yes, you're damn right. I only care about black women. Did I stutter? No, I only care about black women and black girls, because black women are disrespected, unprotected, neglected, forgotten about. No one focuses on us. No one focuses on us. No one cares about us. We are the highest in all statistics. Any type of violent crime that you think that happens to women happens to black women at a higher rate. And that's anything. It comes to abuse, intimate partner violence, sexual trafficking, anything that you can think of, it happens to black women the most. So why would I care about other women? Do I ever hear other women talking about how black women are affected by things? No. So please get your goofy behind out of my life, and I'm about to block you. But I just wanted you to know, yes, I only care about black women. Yes, I only care about black women. Y'all be asking me these questions like I'm supposed to say no. Yes, yes, and now what? All right, let me restart your timer. Sorry, Coco. Go ahead, sis.
it's okay, because I agree with you on that. People already know every time when we get, smex traffic or anything like that, or if we're missing, people are not looking for us. They're not doing that. So therefore, this conversation right here that we're having is very important. Yes, we need to be held mothers accountable for, when a man comes in and touches your child, because you move them in quickly. You lack discernment and you move that man in quickly. You will question your child, your daughter. I've seen mothers question their daughter when they come home from school. Did that little boy touch you? What happened? Do all these 50,000 questions to little girls. I've seen that. But when it comes down to a man, that woman will sit there and ask him for his favorite color and what do you like to cook? And that man will be in that house and she'll be sitting there cooking for him. He won't do nothing for her. It happens so much. You can even see when it comes down to when a woman is raising a boy and a girl and the differences. So yes, we have a lot of male-centered women within our community and we need to address it. Yes, I'm going to call it out. Let's talk about how, and I'm going to bring up Drea. Drea is disgusting. That woman sat there, stripped, and left her child for 2 weeks. Okay. And then now fast forward, nobody didn't really say nothing about it. Colorism and pretty privilege plays a part in that too. Now she's dating someone the same age as her son and has a kid and is acting crazy. And still people are just calling it money moves. Like, we need to start holding women accountable for a certain action that they make. Does colorism and pretty privilege, I'm sorry, I'm going a little bit off topic with this debate, play a part in certain roles? Yes, it does. But, when it comes down to mothers moving in quickly, it's I'm telling you, let's wrap it up. We can even go back to history, how basically when it comes down to age of consent, it was mainly, those rules were mainly made towards women and not towards little boys. We can go down the history of that and we could talk about that.
Coco, if you're here, Coco, it made me remove you. The live got flagged and it made me remove you. Coco. So I'm not for sure if you want to like come back and try to come up again. But yeah, the TikTok live or whatever removed you. So I didn't want you to think I wasn't listening to you or anything like that. I was. It flagged it for like improper speech or something like that. It popped up so quick I didn't see it all, but it said like inappropriate or improper or something. Yeah, she wasn't even saying nothing, so I'm not quite for sure. But normally, whenever I like unapologetically say that I'm only for black women, I only care about black women. A lot of times, the I start getting like flags and restrictions and stuff like that, and
Did
I
you block
already
that
know.
girl?
Yeah,
Did you block that girl?
I did block her. I did block
Okay,
her. As
cool.
soon as I said that to her, I blocked her. But I did see some other people that were not black in the chat. And for the life of me, anytime they will tell black people, non-black people will say that black people are the worst of the worst, that we don't stick together, that we don't care about each other, that we're this, that, and the third. But anytime they see us attempting to unite on any level, they get upset and get their panties in a bunch. And I don't understand that. How can you simultaneously hate somebody and think that they don't do anything and are worth nothing, but then want to be in their spaces and police what they say and police the love that they have for each other? That is so sick. And that's the exact reason why I don't talk to anybody but black women or black men on this platform, because of that right there. That's the reason why I don't do it, because it's like, I don't know what be wrong with y'all. I see so many non-black panels where they're talking about stuff. I never go up there and say anything. And I never would tell them like, hey, you care about black women? Where's the black women's at? Why you not talking about black women's eye? I don't give a doggone. It's very scary, man. It's got to be something spiritual at play here, but I don't want to go off track. Let me keep going. Let me go next up here to Big Peach. Go ahead, Big Peach.
Hello, how y'all doing today?
Hey, sis.
So I just wanted to have that conversation based off of what Unwritten was saying. For someone that had grew up in two separate households because my parents got divorced, on my mother's side, I didn't even know she was, like she said, I didn't even know she was dating a man until she told me the man cheated on her. And then we all just kind of looking at her like, you were dating somebody? While as on my dad's side, there was always a new woman coming in with their children. He didn't background check them or anything. And unfortunately, that's how my little sister ended up getting SA'd. Unfortunately, because he just was just bringing anybody in and just letting anybody be in the house, anybody do anything in the house. And we can get into that topic with that man later. But me as a mother, and especially to a girl mom too, I can never understand how women just bring any man into their house or any woman into their house. They don't even know them for years. That you can even know the person for years. That doesn't mean anything. They can still sit up there and have pedophile thoughts towards your child or anybody at that point. But I will never understand how a woman would sit up there and bring a random man to her house for her own fucking pleasure. Excuse my language. I'm so sorry. But that just gets underneath my skin so bad. Like, it truly does.
I gotta unmute myself. I appreciate you. All right, I got you, Big Peach. Let me go next up here to Trap Lord Ari. Go ahead. I sent you a request to turn your mic on. Are you there, Ari? Or Ari? Okay. Okay, you can come back. No, I'm going
Wait,
to.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
It did something weird with the screen. But no, I just want to say I'm happy that we're having this discussion, because I often say, like, the only people that can fix this type of issue is black women. Like, obviously black men matter for like the protection aspect, but if we don't even allow it in the area, in the vicinity, then we don't need to be protected from some things. Because I have kids and I don't even date anymore. I don't think that women necessarily are more guilty, but you're just as guilty. Like, I have a friend who's about to move somebody in, and she's in her 20s like me. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I went downstairs. But yeah, she's in her 20s like me, and the dude that she's about to move in, he's in his like 40s with no kids. To me, that's a red flag. And she has a young daughter. And even if she had a young son, because a lot of times we think like, oh, we have daughters, we need to protect our daughters. but there are a lot, like if you are a predator for children, any prepubescent child is who you're going after. It doesn't really matter the sex of the child. And I often tell her things like this, but not, I think like our parents did, I won't say all of our parents, but they did an okay job of shielding us from men. Not all of them, obviously, because there's a lot of women out here who were assaulted as children. But our generation and the 20 something, 30 something, we really need to get it together as far as like the desperation aspect. Like, again, I have kids. I'm not dating or having any men in my house. I don't even have relations in my house anymore. Like if I have relations, it's going to be like at his house or like a hotel or something. I know it sounds sleazy, but I don't care. I don't even want my kids to hear anything like that. But that's it.
Okay, all right, I got you. I would say the only thing I would address though is just the protection thing, from black men. I just don't think as black women, here in 2026 that we can be expected to be protected from the collective of black men. Not saying that you can't have a black man in your life, it could be your dad, it could be your brother, it could be a partner or whatever that may protect you or whatever. But collectively, I just don't think that protection is there. So I think that black women expecting that to happen, you're waiting on something that's never gonna happen. You're essentially waiting, what I'm saying, for hell to freeze over or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely agree, especially in this generation. And that's why I feel like it's important for black women to start having these conversations, because I think if we did a better job at mothering, we could basically restart the cycle as far as how our black men act in the future, because we're raising them. And a lot of times we forget that we're literally raising nations. And a lot of what we say could shape the next generation if we actually just made the sacrifice to not, want to be all in love and put our kids in unsafe situations, that type of thing.
I get what you're saying, but I think that when we talk about it, that the reason why like black men aren't protecting us is because single mothers are raising their sons badly and aren't like instilling whatever it is and dropping the ball. I think that's just a way to blame black women for the decisions of men, because we know that when boys get a certain age, they're not listening to their mother. They're going for they're listening to their peers and also black men that are older than them. So I wish that we could have, not saying no shade to you or anything, but I wish that we could actually address really what the issue is, because most black mothers are trying to instill something in their sons. They're telling their sons, hey, go to school, go to college. Don't be out there in the streets. Don't do this. Don't be beating on women. Most women are telling their sons that. Their sons just aren't listening because they're being infected by the negative aspects of black culture that black men have curated. You got NBA YoungBoy. You got, back in the day, you had Dr. Dre and NWA and 2 Live Crew and all of these things that influence the psyches of black men and the ways that they treat black women. And this had nothing to do with black mothers. It had nothing to do with how they were raising their sons. It had everything to do with black men and what they were doing, because men listen to men, males listen to males way more easier than they listen to women. So, I feel like, and you mentioned 20s and 30s, and I want people to know that if you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, women that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, we're going through this exact same thing. So this, I think it's almost a cope that black women have, that black men, were protecting and loving black women in a different way when they were in their 40s, 50s, 60s is not true. Those same women had the same horror stories that the women have to this day. I literally saw a video. This is old though. I don't know if anybody saw it, of a woman. She looked like she was in her 80s. And she was talking about how when she was young, she had got pregnant by this boy in her neighborhood or whatever. And her parents were telling the boy like, hey, what you gonna do? You got to marry our daughter. And he was saying like, no, I'm not going to. I got this light-skinned girl that I'm going to marry. Your daughter's too black and too ugly and this, that, and the third. And she looked so traumatized. She was just so frail, an old black lady, like 80 something. And so we act like, oh my gosh, back then in the day, like black men were, no, the same things that were going on back then are happening now. There's no difference. And that's going back to the time where you quote unquote say that black mothers were so good and this, that, and the third. It's just not true. And really, it's just black male speaking points to avoid black men from taking accountability for anything. And I find it to be troubling because when black men turn out a certain way or black boys turn out a certain way, you blame the mother. oh, we're not raising our men correctly. And that's why our men are out here wilding. How come when a black girl grows up, she maybe turned to escorting or prostitution or stripping, or she's on, illegal substances, or she has a lot of baby daddies and a lot of kids and she's out here promiscuous? How come we never talk about our black men? Our black men aren't raising our black daughters, right? That this is the reason why our black women are doing this, that, and the third. Or, all right, we never say that. We never say that. We never put the blame on black men or black fathers. And there's a reason for that. And I just implore all of you guys to dig deeper and ask yourself why that is. And the reason why is because in the black community, black men get the image of leadership without the responsibility or the burden of leadership. Everything that goes wrong rests on the black woman. Anything, any issues, anything that occurs, it's the black woman, the black woman, the black woman, the black woman. However, the black woman is not supposed to be the leader. She's just supposed to have all the responsibilities and all the horrible aspects of leadership. So submission without, y'all get what I'm saying. Let me just keep going. Let me go next up here to Zeal. Go ahead, Zeal.
Guys,
Hey, how you
I'm
doing?
I'm loving the conversation, and I had a quick question. Like, what do you guys think is the ideal age? When we say, I really support the fact that women should not bring in men to their houses, especially when they are raising the girl child. But now, what age is it that now the mother feels like they should not do that? Because I can't call a friend. It's a girl I know, and she's already doing that. I'm not judging her, but just I came into this conversation, and I'm like, she brings different men to the house, probably just to maybe see the child. But of course, she once in a while she gets, like, they get intimate with some. The daughter is around 18 months. So do you feel like maybe she feels the child is a bit young, so she feels like the child won't know? So that's why I asked the age whereby a woman should now stop bringing male the men
I
to
would.
the house.
Can I answer that, ear trick? Well, I
Uh,
can give my perspective.
yeah, I'll give you a minute because I'm about to forget what I was about to say to this person in the comments. So I'll give you a minute.
Yeah, it won't even need that long. I think it should be, as far as like, I don't necessarily agree with bringing them over to the house at all per se. I don't see the need for it. I think you can compartmentalize different things in your life. You can have your dating life and you can have your home life completely separate, to me, as a woman or anybody just in dating or just choosing to date. That's just one. But if you do, I think you should wait until the child develops self-agency, meaning they're able to conceptualize harm against them and they're able to communicate harm against them. And any interaction that you have in your home, like you do bring somebody over who does, your child has self-agency, they're supervised. Never alone. Never letting your kids go with people. Like you should be, supervising your kids at all times in all scenarios. So if you're going to do it, I think it needs to be, maybe 12 and up. When they're possibly in high school, I think that's when, they have a little bit more of independence that they can, navigate. But yeah, I would personally say 18, you don't need to have them in your house at all, really. You can go over their house. You can still have your fun at their house. So I'm not seeing the need for them to come around your kids at all. I really don't.
All right. I got you written. And I just want to respond to you, Trap Lord. I saw what you said. You said you have 3 sons and like, what's the ways to get around this? Okay. So this is, I don't like to speak in anecdotal, but I will for the intents of this. I was raised with my father and my mother who were married, all my life. And my father never went to jail, never been in prison, never been in any trouble, went to college. I find that when I was growing up, my father was into he always used to like Batman. Batman was like his favorite superhero character. He wasn't really into sports. He was into fixing things and finding out how things fix. My father could fix anything I'm talking about literally anything. Anything he could fix it. He could fix cars. He could fix a washer. He could fit, I mean, just literally anything. And I noticed that, and I'm married, and I've been married now for 16 years. My husband also, these are black men that I'm talking about. My husband has never been in jail, never been in prison, never been arrested, never been in any trouble. He went to school, went to college, was a D1 athlete, playing ball. And I feel like one of the best things that you can do, even though you might not necessarily be able to prevent it, but if you can, or if you can help lean them towards, is those black boys not being infected by black male culture, the worst parts of it. So I mean, like my husband, he don't like rap music. He don't like it at all. Like, he don't like none of that gangster stuff, none of that hood stuff. He just finds it to be stupid. My dad was the same way. I never heard him play a rap or nothing. Ever. Ever. He was like, don't nobody want to hear that trash about some Negroes pew-pewing up the place. He was never watching Boys in the Hood or nothing. Like, he always thought that stuff was stupid. So I feel like if you can protect your children from being engrossed in that type of culture, and you can get them into the nerd side, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that nerdy men, there aren't some nerdy men that are terrible, but that side of black culture would be a way better landmark to start at. That, because if he's listening to NBA young boy, he trying to sag them pants, he trying to do this, he's already lost. So I would say that's the first thing to do, is to steer them away from the most toxic elements of black American culture. Don't be letting him watch no Boys in the Hood. Don't be letting him watch no Menace to Society and all of these other hood booger movies, Kanan and BMF and Power and all of that, where it's just Snowfall that's rooted in the criminalization and the glorification of that criminal behavior of black men to literally make it look glamorous. That's where people go wrong. You got your son in there watching that stuff, and now next thing you know, that's where he wants to be. So I really think that that's one step. I can't say for everything else because I don't have any sons. I have 2 daughters, thank goodness, but that's what I see, because any of the men that I have ever come across that were decent, that I feel like were decent. Now, of course, I didn't know all of them intimately, so I don't know. But any of the black men that I've ever come across that I felt like had some sense, they never was into none of that. Never. I remember one time I went on this date with this dude, and he was playing like nothing but R&B. And I was like, you playing this for me? Or do you? Was like, nah, I like R&B. Ain't nobody trying to listen to no rap. What type of time is that? And those are the type of men that I was always trying to talk to. You tell me that your favorite artist is Dirk, get away from me. Get from around me, because I already know the mentality that you got. And it ain't a good one. Next thing you know, my teeth gonna be on the floor somewhere because you over here trying to, never mind. Y'all get what I'm saying. Yeah. Let me keep going to next to Angie 3 times. Go ahead, Angie.
Hey, sorry. Hey, I wanted to like speak on the prompt. A lot of things I was saying, like I agree with when we talk about like children, being around men, period. I have a friend, I'm 23. So my friend's 23 and she has a baby. We're both young and she's Haitian, very spiritual. And she didn't let nobody, not even like our other female friends, like around her child because she felt like she needs to protect her child's space. And knowing how my mom, my sisters, they all move the same way. We're very like spiritual in that way. A man coming into like a child space, knowing how people think nowadays, how men think, I wouldn't allow it. And then going back to like the unpack why men are desperate or women are desperate to have a man, I also think it's like a generational thing. Like when we were young, when the weird uncle would come and your mom would tell you to like change your clothes and stuff like that. I feel like it's taught down to like, oh, let's cater to the man that comes into the house, and I need a man, I need to change how we dress, I need to change this. Even for women that have kids, like I'm gonna have you or my kid, but I'm gonna still live this fast life and keep a man instead of prioritizing your kids. And I think it's generational. Like even like we was talking about back in the day, there's that mindset, oh, you always got to keep a man. You know, if I talk to my aunts right now, if I ask them the recipe to the perfect marriage, they're going to say, well, I always kept my man happy. They accepted the cheating. They accepted, like, it's generational. And you're teaching it to, you know, your daughters and your granddaughters, and then they picking up on it like, okay, the number one priority in my life is to keep a man, not the education, not the baby, not, you know. So I feel like it's passed down. It's not a simple like conversation. It probably goes way back beyond our generations, but I definitely think like it's generational trauma onto why keeping a man is more important than protecting yourself and your child.
Yeah, male centered. I think it's all just male centered.
Okay. All right. I got you, Angie. All right, let me go next up because you guys, I'm about to wrap this live up, y'all. Let me go up here finally to Miss Candy. Go ahead, Candy.
Hey there.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Now, I'm going to let you know I am a 50-year-old grandmother of three that has three different baby daddies. If that ain't the most stereotypical thing that anyone has heard on this panel, I made sure that I did not let near a piece of man, after my children were all born, near my kids. They weren't allowed, they weren't I didn't even let my little brother near my kids. And I know that sounds, I don't know. At first, I was really ashamed of it because, I wanted, especially because I have a son. He's the second, my second child. I felt bad because I wanted to, have a positive male role model. But, down here where I'm at in Atlanta, I was on Section 8. I was on housing, all the stereotypical things you would think. But then when I see my children, none of them like the gangster rap. None of them have any type of criminal records. One works for the city. The other one works for, a Fortune 250 company. Everything that, we have been taught society wise to go on and assume was the total opposite because I wasn't digmatized. I'm going to be totally real about it. I've had friends that were my age, and you always have the mom circle, and you make sure that you keep at least a friend that you can relate to around you, and they were so crazy for it. I mean, they would have a man in there, like at least two, three men inside their house, a week. And I couldn't understand it. I felt like, with my three baby daddies, those were my three relationships. And I gave them their first child. And then when I left them, they tried to come back. I was like, no, you can't help the family that I have right now. So you go on and find you, and I'll go on and take the burden that I did because I believe that you were the one for me. I'll take care of my child. I don't want nothing from you. And I have to say that, yeah, it was ego on that too, because I should have been getting some child support because the struggle was real back then. But now they take care of me. So it can happen. You don't have to go on and have like the man beside you, the one that's bringing in all that bad energy and coming to lay beside you with it. All those women that, well, I got your man and all that other stuff. Look, it comes a dime a dozen.
I'll give you another 2 minutes, sis.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you. Um, I just wanted to go on and just let that be known, just because of the fact of, some people they do, or some women do go on and have multiple baby daddies. At first I was ashamed. I'm not anymore because I raised my kids right. They don't listen to rap because we already know what's going on with that. Anything that was positive, like back in the 90s type of rap, Tribe Called Quest and all that stuff, they don't play that on the radio. The only thing you're hearing about is how you can bend it over and all that other stuff, So I don't deal with that anymore. But now I just wanted to show that I'm a blessing. I'm happy to go on and let you guys know about this kind of stuff. I'm raising my grandchildren, and I'm so happy for it. It can work, but you've got to go on and have some type of self-discipline because that stuff is everywhere, and you don't know who it's connected to, and you don't need to make a soul tie like I did. And I finally learned how to cut it, and I got the best of it, which are my kids and my grandchildren. Now they're trying to come back in. No, you can't. Find your life. If you're okay, then I'll let you back in. But if not, then stay lonely because you had your chance to raise your child, but you decided to do what you wanted to do. And that's it. I hope it wasn't too much.
Oh, sorry about that. Appreciate you, Candy. I was just talking and I was muted. Coco, so am I just a little bit. But I see y'all got a dust up though in the comments. What y'all talking about over there? Y'all talking about the age of grannies?
Yeah, she was saying like 50 was super young for a grandmother. And I'm like, no, it's not. If both had children around 50, I mean 25, that's normal. And she's like, well, if you prioritize college, no, you literally graduate college at 22. So I'm not understanding. I think 50 is a very normal age for to be a grandmother, not a super young age. Like, what she's expecting people to be 70 to become a grandmother? Makes no
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. Cause I don't think I've ever seen grandmas that was like, you know what I'm saying, they was just the first time grandma at like 65.
Literally, like,
They
what?
ain't even gonna be able to play with the they ain't even be able to play with the grandkids.
Right. 50 is, I think it's a,
Um
yeah, very normal age.
yeah. Okay. All right. I was just wondering what y'all was talking about. I'm not trying to be messy because I don't know.
That's
I
it.
just saw y'all in the comments, you know what I'm saying? Um yeah. But I had children late in life, so I can't talk. Cause I probably will. Well, I don't think I'm gonna be a grandmother at all. Cause I think my platform and the way I speak, I don't I have given my daughters so much game, and their standards are to the high to the heavens. I don't even think it's gonna happen. My oldest daughter, who's a teenager, she was like, "Mom, I don't think I'll ever be getting married because these guys are gross and they're not just. I don't like any of these boys. Not at school, not nothing." So, um. Yeah, I think that unfortunately I probably would, well, not unfortunately, because I don't care. I don't care about having kids, but I or grandkids, but I don't think I'm gonna be a grandmother, and that's great. I feel like that's the greatest gift I could give my children, my two daughters, is to do what they're doing. And so yeah. But let me not even talk about that. All right. Oh, somebody just requested up. I'll let you speak and then I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, y'all. I'm hitting the 2 hour mark. Well, I'm at an hour and a half. Okay. Oh, okay. She must have requested by mistake. All right, I got y'all. Appreciate y'all. Just wanted to give thanks to all of the ladies that came on to the live and talked about this topic. I thought I was gonna get a lot more pushback than I did, and I didn't, which is so good and so great. I'm so happy. You know, I did have some women say that they agree with equal responsibility, but just not more. But to be honest with y'all, I put more on there just to troll people to get people to join. So, but I definitely am so glad that most women, you know, understood that, hey, you can't be having these men around your kids because something can happen to them, and if it does, you're to blame. So I'm just so happy with that because this, you know, I understand it's probably just a bias of just seeing the stuff that's going on. But all of these articles that I was reading recently of these women knowing a man for one business hour and then just letting him watch her baby is just like, ma'am. Bam. And then when you do some crazy stuff, they're like, I just can't even believe this. I'm shocked. How are you shocked? But anyway, yeah. So I just appreciate y'all. And somebody else just sent a request, y'all. I be hating to end the live and not let everybody speak. So hopefully if this lady that's trying to come up right now, Rhea, if she's trying to speak, she can come, but she might have left because she heard me talking about, right? Oh, you had something to say, Rhea, or did you request by mistake?
Hello.
Hey. Hey, you had something to say, sis?
Yes,
All
can you
right.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. So I don't think that women should move any man in. Like, I would say the first 3 to 4 years until you actually get, because your kids are your responsibility. So, like, I think that's a deal breaker for me. I don't think moving a man in is the safest thing.
You breaking up, Rhea. All right. I think you might not be able to, cause you breaking up, sis. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm just gonna cut it right there. All right. So I just want to say this again. If you're a black woman, you are amazing. You're awesome. You're special. And I just want more black women to plug into their woman's intuition because you do have it. Don't let people tell you, and even other black women will attempt to tell you that you don't have any discernment, that you don't have any intuition, that you're completely powerless in this world to be able to discern anything, to be able to decipher anything, to be able to realize anything. And it's just not true. And I really do think that it is rooted in stripping women, or black women specifically, of their power. And I do believe that some black women do it unknowingly as well. So speak life into yourself, speak life into your sister, realize that you are powerful, you are divine, and you have all of the tools that you need to protect yourself right in between your ears, your brain. And just again, thanks for all of the ladies that came up. All right, see y'all later, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye.